20 years of Novak, and boy, have we got some stories for you. Stay tuned.
Happy birthday to us. It's 20 years. Honestly, I can't believe it. I honestly cannot believe it. You know, when people say, I feel like it was just yesterday. I literally feel like it was yesterday when we started Novak. 20 years on. It is just incredible, isn't it?
Fax machine was pumping. I put yellow paper instead of white paper in the fax machine.
Yeah.
Thought I was a genius.
We started off with, so aubergine was the colour at the time. For those of you that don't even know what aubergine is, it's like an eggplant colour.
Yeah.
And we thought that would be a great colour to use as our logo in combination with like a mustardy gold colour. What? We must have had rocks in our head.
And mustardy gold was the brand, yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? And Mark, many people don't know this, but you were only 23.
Yeah.
When Novak was started, when we actually started the agency.
Yep.
You were 23 years old. We have a 24-year-old daughter at the moment, and I cannot believe, I just can't even imagine her opening her own bit. Not to say she's not a smart girl, she's a very smart girl, but starting a business.
It's good because you don't know anything.
You feel it, aren't you?
You don't know
you feel it.
The lows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's quite incredible. So Mark doesn't know this, guys, but I'm going to ask Mark a whole list of questions this morning about the 20 years of Novak. And let's just, I've got a list.
It's a list.
There it is. Love a list. So I'm going to start with asking you, first of all, Mark, because this is really interesting stuff. Many of you guys won't know that we started Novak 20 years ago. As I said, Mark was only 23 years of age. But I'm going to get you to just tell everyone how it started, and I want you to do it in just 60 seconds because I know it's a really long story, but I want you to do it. I want you to do it nice and fast. Give us the fast forward version.
I got fired.
Yep, true story.
And okay, that's short. There you go.
No, there's more to it.
I used to do. I got 60, a big warning to say I want your answers to be really short.
You got 58.
So I get another 60.
Yeah.
I got fired. And it was a dispute over my employer at the time. So I was good rider, and out of 700 salespeople in Australia, I was number one in dollar value and number one in volume.
Yeah.
And I was just like 20, 21, 22, just doing really good numbers, consistently buying property, a good saver, living at home.
Yep.
And the boss said, you should buy the premises next door to the one that I'm about to buy.
Yeah.
And we had a dispute over price, and he started getting really angry.
So you got fired. Yes. Okay. And then at that time, though, you had already owned a portion of the rent roll.
Yep, 51%.
51%. Okay.
Rent roll.
Right.
Yep.
So
the rental business is the only thing that really has value in a real estate business.
Yeah, actually, that's an interesting topic for another time as well, just talking about. It's a really good topic. So majority shareholder of the rental side of that agency at the time. And so because you'd gotten fired, you thought that was a great opportunity to go open your own agency.
No. So I sort of, I took it pretty hard, and then I went and talked to the other shareholders of the other 51%, the other 49%. Spoke to 3 of the 5 of them, 4 of the 6 of them, and they said, we want you, we want to follow you, we want to take the rental business and relocate it from where it was. And I was like, what does that mean? They said, you should do your own real estate. And I'm like, how?
And I remember saying to you at the time, Mark, and obviously we were only really young, I remember saying to you, you've managed people? No. You worked in property management before?
No.
You know how to run a business? No. Tax?
HR?
No. Payroll? No. I was like, awesome. This is going to be a great ride. But you've learned a lot. And you had to learn fast.
Oh my God! And look, you know what?
And you had to learn
It wasn't a
fast.
franchise group, so everything was foreign. You know, sometimes you get the templates from
Well,
the franchise groups. We went independent. So
yeah, so we looked at lots and lots of different models, didn't we, at the time?
the problem was DY had 17 real estate agents operating from it, so every brand had been taken, and there wasn't really anything left. So it was like,
Yeah.
we've got to do Novak.
So literally that weekend, we went out and found the old pie shop.
Yes.
In DY, Shakespeare's Pies, and it was right next door to a kebab shop. And the location was absolutely phenomenal. It was a prominent corner location with traffic lights on a main road.
Yes.
Made for awesome, awesome premises. Yes. And we were there for quite some time. We are going to put this week photos online of the old office and what it looked like. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Rosie.
Rosie was there that day, that hour.
Rosie was there with us, without a doubt. Rosie was 100% there with us right from the beginning.
She was with our lawyer and
at the time,
with the law firm, and she was there guiding us to do the right thing. So she was physically, when we physically moved the day, she was physically there.
It wasn't the day, it was at night. It was at night. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But we did find the premises, the short version.
60 seconds.
We also couldn't afford to renovate the premises. So we moved into an old pie shop. We had no money. 23. We had no money. So we moved into a pie shop and had absolutely no money to renovate. And we couldn't even fill a hole that used to come in from the kebab shop next door. And it would reek of kebabs when you came into the agency. But I tell you what, we did do it up over time, and we certainly did create something that was very innovative.
And also we still had the other partners, remember? So the partners, so there was Clive, Ray, their lovely wives, and he was an accountant, he was a stockbroker. So they actually cut a check for 120 grand. And
they were amazing.
And they said that is the proceeds for moving. You have got to do everything within that. So that's going to be operating costs within that. That's going to be anything you need on the property, signage, anything, all within that. So it was tight. It was tight.
So at that time, and we're going to wrap this part of it up, just so I can move on to the next question.
That's just the first question.
At that time, we had the property managers obviously were coming over from the old office.
Yes.
And you'd written letters to everyone to say, this is the new place where you should go to work on Monday. We've moved. And they did. They walked in the door Monday morning, and a few hours later, they all walked straight back out because your ex-boss had enticed them with a cash bonus.
Cash bonus. Come back. Don't go with Novak, and we'll give you cash. Stay here.
So we had no staff and a considerable amount of property management and a new business, and had never run a business before in our lives. No. They were interesting times.
Yeah.
But one thing we always knew was that we wanted to be innovative and have fun and certainly look after people. So here we are. All right, Mark, funniest moment.
I'm talking budgets really tight for a really, really long time. And the first little inkling of, just not even an inkling, it was like just a guard. It's like, I can do it, was I'm going to do a letterbox drop of 100,000. So the next 10 properties we sell, we're going to do 10,000 to that suburb.
Yep.
So I told a young guy in the office, support guy in the office, I said, that's what we're going to do. Can you believe it? He was so excited. I was so excited. The first property sold was 4 Cedar Grove in French's Forest. I remember that address because after delivering 10,000, the delivery company called me and said, hey, what do you want us to do the rest of them? I said, have you dropped the 10,000? They said, we dropped the 10,000. They said, but the rest of them? I said, what do you mean the rest of them? They said, we've got 2 pallets, big pallets. I said, pallets of what? They said, boxes. I said, what's in the boxes? So he goes and opens the boxes and he said, 4 Cedar Grove. And I said, how many boxes? And he goes, well, I go, how many inside a box? He goes, 2,500, 40 boxes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I go to the support guy, how many did you order of 4 Cedar Grove sold? He's like, we go back to the order sheet. He ordered 100,000 brochures of the same property. I was telling people in Mossman, which was 25 kilometres away, that I sold the house. I didn't know what to do with the other 90,000.
Oh my
So the whole budget, first time we had any money, in any success in budgeting a sale, it was wiped out. And I had no more for the other 9 properties. Mate.
Oh, so brilliant. I can see Cleo's tuned in as well.
Yeah.
Cleo has been with us a really, really long time. One of our senior property managers. I mean, Cleo's been with us, it's got to be close to, 15 years, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal. Absolutely adore her. We've had some phenomenal times together.
And if you want to watch a lady work, we've got to get Claire to do some more socials.
Yes, we do.
This is a lady that can juggle the most, like 1,000 things at once and program.
Including having the biggest hangover you've ever had and coming to work the next day looking totally normal. I don't know how she does it, I swear. Cleo, I love what you sent me last night. We've always been known for having great staff nights, and obviously we had to stop for a few years during COVID, but we've gotten right back into it again. And I tell you what, Cleo sent me something. It must be from 10 years ago, and it was a video that we took in the back of a taxi. And I tell you, God, we've had some fun times. Absolutely love you, Cleo. All right, Mark, most exhilarating moment.
Opening a new office.
Yeah, I have to agree there.
So we rented the old office for 15 years, which used to be a pie shop, which used to be next door a kebab shop. We took both of those premises, spent a lot of money on them, and we're paying about $130,000 a year rent. 6 or 7 years ago. It was just a fortune for us at the time.
Yeah.
And buying something was really, really rewarding, and then fitting it out. So I always spoke about feeding people in our business, like when they come to your home. Giving them a coffee, a water, something to eat, and we did that successfully with our antipasto bar that we put in, and also operationally we got everything how we wanted it. So I think that
it's pretty crazy.
The efficiencies we pulled out of that premise has been phenomenal.
What I love most is all the people that have told us all the millions of reasons why so many of the crazy things we have done just simply wouldn't work. When we opened Novak, it was called the Novak Agency. And when we opened the then Novak Agency, we had no signage at all. There was no photos in the window of property, and there was, no signage to indicate that we were a real estate agency. And so many people would say, it's ridiculous. You can't be a real estate agency without putting photos of properties on the window. And we're like,
a lot of firsts.
We want people to come in and we want them to come talk to us. That's what we want them to do. We want to build relationships. And then there's been so many of those. And then again, when we opened up these new premises, 7 years ago, people going, antipasto bar in a real estate office? Who does that? And a garden inside a real estate office.
Yeah, well, car dealerships were doing like a little coffee and a little bicky or something. And we love that. We love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Something no one knows.
The lack of money I had in the business for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like running that business.
Blood, sweat and tears in every corner.
Such a tight, on the outside, I was driving a 7 Series BMW.
Which you'd ordered. At the time, little did you know you were getting fired, but you'd ordered a 7 Series BMW.
I ordered a $260,000.
We laugh now. It wasn't funny at the time.
I ordered a $260,000 car when I was 21. 22, and I ordered it, and it took a year and a half to get delivered. Also, and I love cars. And then I rang my accountant, and I'm like, what do I do? He said, you go down and you ask me how much it is to roll out of it, and you tell them to, you roll out of it, find out. So I find out, and they said, you're going to lose 10% of the value of the car. And I was like, that's $26,000. So I ring the accountant, and he goes, you're going to have to do it. I said, no, I'm not doing it. Anyway, that was so good. Cole Crawford kept the car in their showroom that I bought for 1 year. So it took 1.5 to get delivered.
Oh my gosh,
Germany,
I remember
and they had to sit in the showroom. And I remember every night driving home, I would pull over and
look at the car.
I'd run out to the showroom, and I'd be like, yeah. And then some weeks they turn it around, and I'm like, oh. But I didn't want them to see that I was looking. But the lack of money in in that first 10 years of business was just unbelievable. And because you're feeding you're putting a home, of your kids.
Well, we had to renovate as well. So any money that we had was going straight back into the business to renovate.
We didn't want to sell stuff, so investments. We kept investing, and it was just a really, really, like it's still tight now, but it was extraordinarily difficult back then.
Yeah,
and on the outside, you see this young guy cruising in a brand new 7 Series. On the inside, he's like, "You better work like a bloody dog."
That's business.
Yeah.
That is being in business.
Yeah.
What you've learned.
You get in what you get what you deserve, and you get out what you put in. And I mean that in the harshest way.
Yep. Okay. What would you change?
I reckon I'd make hard decisions faster.
Okay.
So you sort of know with your head and with your gut, you know the answer. And sometimes it's just better to rip. Even though, you don't want the reputation for it or whatever, it's just like, it's got to do it.
Yep. I saw Luke's got a question here as well. Mark, maybe you can just scroll there. I can't reach the screen.
Your little arms.
There was one further up there.
Yeah. Where's Luke?
Let's go to Luke. What was the hardest moments?
Your cash flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of people don't realise that, and that's with any business, right? In the beginning, it is hard. It's tough. It's really, really tough. But, we've had some amazing staff along the way. Like, we really, really have. And we've had enormous longevity out of staff. And look, no one can stay forever. We've had some very long-lasting staff that have left over the last sort of year. And, they've gone on to get into their own business or just simply wanted a change. But, these guys and girls, look, Cleo, 15 years, Brunka, 15, probably more now, 15, 16 years. We had Angelo, who was with us for 17 years. Michael Bergio, 9 years. Stevan Bubalo. Stevs has been with us also. Got to be more than that, Mark. I was seeing photos of Stevs. He looked like a young boy.
Yeah.
It's quite incredible.
Those memories that we created with past and present staff are just like wine. They just get better and better and better. So as they get older. So looking back on those
What for
photos,
the future, Mark? What for the future?
I probably don't want to sound uninspiring, but like I just think if we can just repeat the innovation, if we can repeat the fun, if we can repeat the helping people, building staff, just eat, sleep, repeat. I'm happy. Like I don't want to own the world. I'm happy just to live in it. And I think our office has got the capacity, seating wise, size wise, to grow probably 2 or 3-fold. And I think that's got the capacity to look after our family and for the crew to double, triple, quadruple their own earnings, and double and enough for their families. Like there's plenty of farm in where we are, and I just think just keep farming. And personally, that's the business. Personally, there's other things, but that's the business. I think I think it's a beautiful platform for young and old.
I tell you what, it's been one hell of a ride. I don't reckon there's a single thing that we would change, not a single thing. I'm always saying if you can dream it, you can do it. Or if you're crazy enough to dream it, you can do it. And, that's the thing. So many people will tell you why things can't work and why you shouldn't do all the things that you just want to do. But give it a go. Nothing is impossible. Absolutely nothing. As I said,
Shanghai.
What's that?
Nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible.
That friend in Shanghai?
Yeah.
Nothing.
But but that is the reality of it. As I said, Mark, 23. When you open Novak Properties, it's just unbelievable. Now, when we're older and we're parents and we have a 24-year-old, and you look back, you just think, how the hell did we do that? But you just do. Absolutely nothing is impossible, and you've got to have fun. I'm always saying to my crew, you've got to have fun. You've got to feel passionately about what you do. and you've got to look after people.
Important. I think that's
you've
so
got to look after people.
And you know, I think one thing that's always surprised customers and friends is just how much I haven't given a fuck about when I know something is good and right and is helping people, that I've just been, you know, unapologetic and ruthless about pursuing it. And that's always surprised people. I think, you know, even with our social media, like when as we started, I was like, you sure this is like, you know, we're going, nah, we know it just makes sense.
Getting up and turning up every day.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
And I'll tell you that. Oh my God, he is military. Actually, we should do it. We should do a segment on all the things that I could tell you about Mark, the behind the scenes, the crazy professor, because this guy will not take no for an answer. He will not. You tell Mark no, it will drive him further and further to make something happen. And I'm like, the resilience of this person is insane. And that's how he gets up and turns up every single day. Touchwood, never has a sick day, ever. It's just not in his vocabulary.
I haven't had a sick day in my whole life. So
this is true.
Only aside from an operation I had.
Yeah. This is true. But the resilience is quite unbelievable. I tell you, you'd have a really, really hard time trying to keep up with Mark. Because the resilience is unbelievable. You can see just turning up every day and doing these Novak morning minutes. Mind you, we did miss last Friday. It's the first time ever. We had a massive landlord night and we actually slept through it. That is a true story. And we're human at the end of the day. But you know, turning up every day, someone actually said, how the hell do you come up with things to talk about every day? Yeah. And I reckon that's a good topic for next week, the making of Novak minutes, because there's a lot that goes in. That's it.
And the lovely Lisa's, you've had to juggle Mark the Monster, and then you've had to juggle the kids, and then you've had to juggle the home.
It's what us girls do.
Looking after your dad when he wasn't well and we lost him. That was a long health, and over 10 years, 15 years. My dad, it's been a 20 years.
It's been phenomenal.
And some friends and family and customers of Novak,
absolutely.
Yeah, we've had some wicked memories as well with all of you. So thank you.
That's it from us. To be continued. On to the next 20 years and then some.
Well, this is just a start. We're only in
I feel like we've only just gotten started.
Early 40s.
Yeah. I love it.
See you guys. Lisa is older than me, if you probably can't realise.
Most people don't. Someone called Mark my dad the other day.
Wasn't embarrassing at all.
See you guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.